And welcome back and Happy New Year to all our fanatics. I see a big smiley head
Oh,
on Mossy and Howard. It must be because Dan isn't here. Um, no, Happy New Year to everyone and Happy Christmas and Happy New Year. And everyone's back to work today. I was, Howard was, Moss, not for a little bit,
yep.
yeah, as well.
No back as well, yep.
Okay, very good. And we're all the better for it.
Wait, do
Um,
you
Not must did the snow not stop you from coming in? No, that didn't hinder
No,
you.
no, we had a perfectly fine, no, not affected at all. I had all my
Well,
friends in Cork text me, my tip friends are all like,
oh yeah.
oh, I've no school, I'm not until 11 or 12 or 11, 10. I was like, fuck off, I
Yeah.
don't want to hear this shit on the first morning back. But no, it was
Kieran was
grand, let's get in.
driving. Kieran was driving back down to Clarny from Athlone on
yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday and yesterday. And what do you call it? They thought it was too bad, so they stop off. They said they'd stop off in all Adair of all places. You know, they had they had a night in Adair Manor. Well, not Adair Manor, but someplace close to it. But no, they got back down to Killarney safely. Um, right, forget all that. We're here to talk about football, and we're going to start with Liverpool versus Man United. I have to admit, I was very surprised by the performance of Man United before the game, and me included. Everybody, I think, had Man United wrote off for this. They thought it was going to be a catastrophe. Our good friend Dan was even over in Liverpool, possibly hoping to witness a catastrophe, but he didn't get it though. What he did get though was a fantastic game. For a neutral and me, I thought it was a brilliant game to watch. Arsenal, I know you were hoping probably for, or Howard, I hope you were imagining United would get the third. Harry Maguire might slot away the one, although it was offside, so that's questionable. But Moss, I'm going to start with you. I have a couple of questions to ask you both about the match. As a United fan, I'm sure you were happy and pleasantly surprised.
Oh, 100%. Like, I was texting D in the group, and Dan was
Yeah,
like, oh, the game's on, yes. And I was like, oh, God, no.
yeah,
I kind of hope we got a reprieve, to be honest. But from the pretty much like they grew a little bit slow start. Like Liverpool had probably two relatively early chances, Gakpo and had a decent chance, and McAllister had quite a good chance from
Yeah.
volleyed and Anana made a good save. But they started to grow into it after that. Their positioning of Fernandez, they really seemed to be targeting Trent and coming down that side. And I suppose the idea that Salah probably isn't going to track back seemed to drift. Bruno seemed to be playing in a neutral position, kind of closer out to the wing, and it kind of left Trent in an awkward position of will I track? He seemed to be confused whether to go to Bruno or to be closing Dallo a lot of the time, and that seemed to create an awful lot of
yeah,
opportunity or pull Gravenberch. Gravenberch was kind of being pulled out of where he wanted to be as well, creating passing lanes into Highland. So, look, tactically it was very well set up. They
yeah.
executed it really well, and Jesus, the intensity and the work rate it was something I haven't seen from United basically since the FA Cup final
Yeah.
against City. And
Why so different? Like a week? I mean, what can
we,
you possibly change in I know there are a few different players. Kobe Manu was in it. Actually, he's brought legs to the team. I have to say that definitely. Yeah. What's changed within a week like that can be so different?
it's hard to put your finger on like, and I think Amarin himself said it afterwards, as did Bruno. Like we we can put in this performance, but we aren't doing it consistently, and we don't seem to be able to put our finger on as to why. But like can't be a coincidence that's the first week, the first time he's had a proper week of preparation for a game that they managed
Mm.
to put in one of their best performances. Like he's had 4 or 5 sessions come the middle of this kind of the Christmas period coming around, like this Boxing Day around, or the English should call it Stephen's Day as we should call it.
Boxing Day,
Around
go
then,
home.
yeah, like he had had 4 or 5 train sessions with them. Like that was his extent of on the pitch because it was midweek games. So look, there was time to prepare. He also challenged them. He said as United after the Newcastle game, which they were absolutely atrocious and played off the park,
Yeah,
especially in the first half, that as a United team, you don't have. We said he didn't have leaders, and that they were lacking leaders, and also that you're talking about relegation as a Man United player. And if that doesn't sting your pride,
yeah,
then
absolutely.
I don't know what will, because to be
I can I
associated with
just
that
come in?
conversation.
I was coming in a point there. Like I think you made a good point there, Mossy, about the criticism that they've gotten. But like in the end of the day, like that, no matter how
tactically astute you are, that team that they put out against Newcastle was never gonna do damage because of the, let's say, your midfield. They didn't have the legs midfield. I just
Yeah.
feel, sometimes we can say like, oh, the players turned up and they did this and did that. But I think sometimes it's just that the manager gets it right and the tactics on the pitch are right, and it gives players more of a reason to run after the ball. Like if the tactics are wrong and you're leaving gas behind you, you're like, oh God, what am I doing running around like a headless chicken if there's no one else? The tactics are, there's gaps behind me because the players aren't, the right players are there, or the tactics aren't fitting to what the team is. And I think Amarin got the tactics spot on at the weekend. And I think if he gets the spot on, the players will work if it's right, if you know what I mean. So I think it's a two-way thing, rather than, I think, just, oh, the players turned up and they showed a lot of fight. I think it's the players showed up and they started fighting from the very start, but then they gave themselves a reason to fight because they knew what they were doing was right, if you know what I mean. And Menu was
they
in
were
the field.
cohesive. They were cohesive, like, as in, obviously much better midfield. Now, part of that is McCarthy was suspended. As in they didn't have legs, and I think he was keeping Manu. Like, Manu was excellent when he brought him on for Xerxes and did make a big difference against Newcastle. But like, I was as it went 2-1 and you're looking at it, I was like, Liverpool can bring players on here, and I was kind of questioning, who could we bring on really? Now, Garnacho did all right, like, but he's been out of form and definitely seems a bit knocked since he was dropped before the Man City game. He hasn't seemed to kind of hit his stride or show the same level of confidence. But like, outside of Garty and Menu, like, I don't really know who you bring into that position. Like, anytime he's made a change, it's drop Bruno back and bring on Garnacho in the kind of the 10. So like, I thought depth might catch us out in the end, but look, they fought back well. They got the equaliser, and look, it would have been offside with Xerxes, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
I think it's definitely a stepping stone, because I mean, if that performance goes into the games in his first 8 games, first 7, 8 games, I mean, you don't get the results that you've been getting for whatever reason. Howard, maybe you're right. He got the tactics spot on, the players spot on the pitch. They bought into it, and I mean, it's definitely something to build on. Um, will he go next weekend? I don't know who you have in the FA Cup, but who?
Arsenal.
Oh, there you go. Okay, actually, that's probably the perfect game
It
for
is.
you. You know that.
And you've a week to prepare, like.
Exactly. Was this a fluke going to Anfield? They kind of got their spirits up for it, or given the week he's had a week training with them, got some tactics into their heads, got the right players. Can they replicate what they did yesterday against Arsenal? They're away to Arsenal. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, to be honest, like, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
United going to the Emirates and beating them in the FA Cup, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, the fact is the cup as well. I mean, you can get different performances in different competitions for whatever reason. On Liverpool, okay, we've talked about United. They were inspiring. They were good. Liverpool, is Trent's future causing a distraction within the club? Because online today, I don't know whether this is true or not, but there was talk of there being some dressing room unrest, and there was arguing in the dressing room, stuff like that. I don't know. Is it true? Is it just, ridiculous? Is it just?
I saw a few clips of Van Dijk staring Trent out of it for not tracking back or putting.
No, fair enough. He did have a very poor game. Now you can argue whether that was because of all the Real Madrid stuff. Carragher and Neville had a lot to say on it after the match as well. It probably does. I mean, look, your head is going to be swayed, but I mean, is this possibly the start of some sort of a distraction? Something that we've talked about actually from the start of the season, with the three lads' contracts kind of running down. Could that cause an issue? Is this the start of something? And how's it going to affect them? Howard, I know you're dying to say it is, so go for it.
No, I think, look, we've always, as I said, we flagged this contract issue, and I think Trent has been the most liable to leave in all the talk that's had gone on, but probably the least vocal. Like, Salah's come out and said it a few times that it's nowhere near close. So
sorry, no, I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. On Salah, I think he's acting the bollocks completely.
Yeah, I like to be saying it after every game. I know he gets asked it, but to be constantly saying it's nowhere close, I think that's as bad form.
And just see his Instagram today.
Yeah, put the three of them together in a photo, isn't it?
Why? Like, there's absolutely no need to do that.
it's fishy. It's probably not controlling the situation well enough, especially when you're a player of his stature and have been around the game for so long. Like, you'd think he'd have a bit more sense. And you can see maybe there's cracks there. Whiteclop and Salah fell out near the end of the season as much. But let's see. Like, even his celebration, I thought was a bit weird after the penalty when he got down in his hunkers and kind of this meditation thing. But look, just on Trent, I think the game probably didn't suit him there the weekend anyway. Like, the pitch beforehand was drenched. Like, like from listening to people that were there, like the first half, like there was people slipping and sliding all over the pitch that you couldn't even see on the camera. And like, you know, if you're a Trent passer of the ball for like ridiculously risky passes and you're putting the pace on the ball that isn't going to give you the pace based on the pitch the pitch status, like, you know, he's going to have some misplaced passes. And you could see a lot of his passes were under hit. So he was hitting them on the grass, but they weren't flying like they'd usually fly. Yeah. So I think he got caught out a bit of that. And then obviously it probably wasn't the best time to do it when the offer came in from Real Madrid there, a week or two ago. And I could imagine he was getting a lot of abuse in the stadium from fans as well. Yeah. So, and then you have the dressing room ruckus at the end. So I think.
Well, like, hold on now. Like, was there a ruckus? Like, do we know that?
I'd say there was. Well, from what I've heard on Twitter, like there's been a few different solid sources that have come out saying that basically some of the players were with Van Dijk and they were basically slating Trent for the situation that is the situation in regards to Real Madrid coming in, like, and basically tell him either make a decision, get sorted, or leave. And then I heard that afterwards Trent basically said to his advisors to sort the situation ASAP. Again, don't know. Again, these are all from the clouds of Twitter. That there's like, does it mean he wants to get it sorted and leave ASAP, or get it sorted and stay ASAP? I'm not sure. But just one last thing I'd say on him is that he's like, this hassle that he's bringing now to this Liverpool team isn't that wise. And I think Arne Slot has a decision to make in the coming weeks, whether he keeps performing. If he keeps performing poorly, and Bradley will call for Bradley to come in. So you wouldn't be shocked if by the end of January Trent actually was gone, because like, do you want him around?
I get what you're saying. Like,
if they have 2 or 3 more games like the City game or like the United game there, and the fans want him and he's not performing, they're going to have to find a solution. Either drop him for Bradley, drop him, or just let him go in January. And like, if he's actually definitely going out the door anyway, because it's, by the sounds of it, it's all been set up for him to leave for free in the summer.
So, you would enjoy it if he was to kind of stay and a little bit of aggro, and, you know, obviously it's a distraction. You know, it would probably
massive distraction, and like, they only have themselves to blame for it. Like, you know.
But like, this is a Madrid tactic. Like, it came out in Marca, the Spanish newspaper, that the bid made. This is a tactic they've used for Mbappe. They started the same crack with Lenny Yoro during the summer. Like, that's how they managed the situation. They drop it into the media and basically negotiate with them to, we'll offer you this money now, with kind of like, we really are willing to, we want you, we value you. And then you come, if you start to say your club don't want to take our money, we'll take you for free in summer. Like, it's a similar ploy that they've used before.
So you think, Master, like Real Madrid, they know they're not going to get Trent this month. They know it's going to happen in the summer. Like, this is just something they're why do it though?
It's a massage and ego. Yeah. Like, it's a massage and ego that we're willing to pay this money, even though, but your club won't let you go, and we'll be here for you somewhere when we can't do anything now because they won't release. They're not willing to accept our fee.
But do you not think that, like, that offer would never have come in without Trent saying, yeah, put in an offer? Like, I would have thought Trent would have been and his advisor would have been like, yeah, put in an offer in January. Like, I think,
but you'd be skeptical about that offer. Like, I know it came out that it was a verified offer. When it came out first, like, you hear it so often, you're like, yeah, like, well, is that just Madrid tactics? Like, you know, so like, the debate, the money's in there. I think he's going nowhere right now in January. And if he start, like he's had one bad game overall, the season has been excellent. He's defending in general, brilliant, excellent. He's been much better this year, and United targeted him and overwhelmed them in that they took advantage of Salah not tracking back and put Bruno in front of him to pull Gravenberch out, and that created a passing channel in. And they repeated that they did that pattern a good few times and got a lot of success out of it. And you can stare at Van Dijk and stare at him all you want, but no one was sent to cover him. There was no change in tactics to stop everything coming down that left wing. And when Bradley came on, there was a noticeable difference straight away. Like as much as a manager's responsibility is to address that, like, and he had Bradley sitting on the sideline if he really wanted to do it. So I don't know. I don't think he'll be gone anywhere. I think he offers too much going forward in a title push. And yeah, look, he's had a bad game. He might have 2 or 3 bad games because he's trying to deal with a lot of pressure and scrutiny at the minute. But I think he will be there at the end of January and be part of a team pushing to win. And if he does, he leaves with 2 Premier League medals. He basically has most Champions League. Do you know, as in he can leave accomplished player, but how he leaves and his legacy could be defined about how he performs and carries himself between now to the end of the season.
I suppose like we're probably the wrong ones to be commenting on it because obviously Howard, your team's in a title race. Moss, you love Liverpool. And me, I suppose the rivalry with Liverpool over the last few years. I just want to see a good title race, and I think Trent and his kind of shenanigans is going to give us that because they go away to Notts Forest next Tuesday evening. That won't be easy. They're the one team to bet them already this season at Anfield. So I mean, yeah, it sets it up nicely to see what's going to happen. You have Villa. You have Spurs at home next week.
Spurs at home and then Villa, yeah.
Given how ridiculous Spurs are at the moment, you would imagine they're going to win that. Liverpool, I think, Notts Forest away. It could be a game where they may drop 2 points. I mean, yeah, look, anything can happen. It's going for the neutral anyways, if you want to call us. We're not neutral. We want to see Liverpool slip. Pardon the pun. We want to see another slip. But we'll see what happens. Move on to Brighton versus Arsenal. Howard, speaking of slips, what the hell? Although fair enough, there was a contentious decision there as well. But what did you make of Arsenal? What did you make of the game?
Yeah, I suppose since we last chatted, they had Brentford as well, which I was thought they played very well in. I think, look, so I haven't really got a chance to talk about the Saka injury, but like obviously the Saka injury is going to have a massive.
And what's his name? The 17-year-old.
And Nwaneri, yeah. So Nwaneri. So like I think, look. At the moment, Arsenal, like the game the weekend or the game there against Brighton, like the main, they didn't play great, but being honest. But I think they struggle when they don't have the right personnel on the pitch, and they don't have. I don't think they have a substitute for Odegaard. So Odegaard, like there's a virus running through the team as well at the moment. Like Havertz is out, like Martinelli was sick, Marino was sick. Odegaard is sick there. Like half of them started on the bench. So I think when you play Brentford away and like there was an illness running through the team there, and then you go to Brighton away and you still have that issue, like you could see it in the performance. I guess is what I mean. You could see that fatigue. You could see that there was just a little bit of a spark gone. So I think in the end of the day, what really mattered was just get the result. And I think they were nearly there with like a kind of safe 1-0 win, and then obviously that penalty, which I thought.
Yeah, what do you think of it? Mass, you as well.
I thought when I first saw it, I honestly thought in the replay when I first saw it, I thought it was a penalty. When I first saw it in an instant replay and I saw it, I said he's after headbutting there and completely missing the ball. But then you see the slow-mo thing and he actually hits the ball. I know they say he's headed the ball into, but like if you're jumping up for a ball, you're not going to be looking at the ball like to the very last second. You're going to jump up and try to head it. And like if you get a touch on it, even if your man heads it on your head, you're competing for the ball. Like
absolutely.
So I think in that aspect, you'll never really. I don't think you'll ever see a clash of heads unless it's a proper headbutt. Like a clash of heads going for the ball being a penalty ever again. Like I think it's never happened before. Just like the Declan Rice incident, just like like the Martinelli 2 red cards incident or 2 yellow cards and the one thing. Arsenal seem to be a good guinea pig for trying out first first the red cards for these things anyway. But look, I think in general I have one thing to say about the referee and all that, and that's just I think Arteta isn't well liked within the PGO ML and the refereeing. I just don't think they like him. I think his antics last year when the Newcastle goal, calling it a disgrace and all that, and then they brought it against the PGML, like that has completely backfired on him. Like that's completely backfired. Like even though I was with him at the time on it, I think it's really rubbed up the referees wrong way. And like I think if you're an Arnie Slot and you sit on the sideline and you don't really complain about things, like you're gonna get more decisions for you. Like that's just a fact. Like it's human nature. Like you're not gonna, if someone is shouting and roaring saying, "Why didn't you give me this foul?" Like you're more than likely not gonna give them the foul. So I think this season Arsenal really haven't got any rub of the green. I think maybe they've got less of the 50-50 chances with and against them in a lot of decisions. Like the 3 red cards, you could argue all of them. The penalty there, like I think there's a good few a proportion of that have gone against Arsenal this season in comparison to last season. Even like if you look at last year, I thought they didn't have half as much stuff against them. And look, that's just the way it is. And I think that's just the way the referee and I think Arteta needs to learn a bit from that and needs to just like be a bit better on the sideline and be
bit more street smart, I think.
Yeah, a bit more street. I always remember that time against I think it was Klopp. Yeah, it was against Liverpool, and him and Klopp got into a little argy bargy on the side of the pitch, like not giving back the ball or giving back the ball or something, and the whole Anfield crowd went nuts. And Arsenal end up losing the game 4-0. Like so, you need to learn from them kind of little things that you can influence the game on the sideline, and the referee.
Absolutely.
So yeah, look, disappointing again, not capitalizing on Liverpool's thing, but look, still within striking distance.
No, 100%. I mean, given like I was out the weekend watching the Arsenal game and then the Liverpool game afterwards, and I was watching with a Liverpool fan, and when Brighton got their penalty, he was over the moon. And
so he's still worried.
He was still, yeah. I mean, look, it's United at Anfield. Anything could happen, and it did. And then the following day, he texted me afterwards, just saying, "Shite," So what do you call it? But again, you think like that drawn and had Liverpool won, that would be like an 8-point gap with a game.
No, that would have been it would have been 7 points then. Like it's at the moment it's 6 points, but Liverpool have a game in hand.
Yeah,
but like there's loads.
You just feel though like they've been like that Liverpool have been dropping points. Like they have had a good few draws of Newcastle away. They've drew with United. They've had a few kind of times that they've dropped points in the last while, and no one's been able to capitalize on them. Like
I think like
maintaining that gap. Like
the only team that is going to capitalize is Arsenal. If anyone's going to do like not Forest, I know they're up there, but I don't think you can call them contenders.
Yeah, like Arsenal are going to have to go on a run, and it's just without Saka, it's going to be very difficult to go. Like they have the same amount of points as they did last year at this stage after 20 games.
But I mean,
they won 16 games, drew 1 and lost 1 after that. And I just can't, like, I'd love to say, oh, we're going to do so well the second half season, and we do have an easier fixture list than Liverpool, like in the second half season. But to go like that without your main attacking threat is going to be very difficult. Like getting rid of Haaland first.
Yeah, the opportunity to kind of close that gap, like as the weeks go down and you're drawn, Liverpool are drawn. I mean, you gotta kind of seize it. But look, we'll see. Spurs midweek next week, and then Notts Forest they have away. So I mean, for me anyway, there's like a definite one where something could happen. Right, we'll move on to the other games of the weekend. I'm just going to quick mention for City 4, West Ham 0. We are closing in on 40 points, so I'm happy.
Oh, no relegation. Well, you hope you're getting relegated by the
not by the league route
point system anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Haaland back among the goals. Savinho actually, he's impressed me the last few games. Couple of assists, got on the goals. Yeah, whatever it is, it's hard to know why or what has clicked, but definitely delighted to see it kind of happening for him. I suppose we're Jeremy Dockett.
His assist for Haaland's first goal was absolutely beautiful.
It was.
It was some cross, and then Haaland didn't even acknowledge his own goal. He just went straight to Savinho. I was like, that says a lot about the quality of delivery. Like
it was, and I don't know who it was that the defender he'd bet though. Like it was a beautiful piece of skill. Then, as you said, the cross. The goalkeeper probably misread the flight of the ball big time, but look, he took his chance and it was good. Look, I mean, Leicester and West Ham, I'm not gonna not gonna shout at the rooftop or anything like that, but it's nice to get some points and some sort of victories. And look, you'll take them, whatever happens. De Bruyne giving out about the fans after the game in an interview he gave. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that. Go on, tell us.
Just giving out about the fans, like saying when West Ham got a goal, our fans were kind of booing, kind of jeering some players. They said this to De Bruyne after the match, and he was gone like, I don't know what they're doing. We're giving him a lot to celebrate over the years, and just De Bruyne is like that. He's a kind of he's a fiery character at times.
But what about his point, Deck? Do you think there's any validation in his point? Like,
Giving out about the fans.
Fans a bit kind of,
I
especially
think
maybe the younger ones that like all they know is winning and they're at the game, and they might be a bit more, I don't know, petulant about the whole thing rather than accepting what City were like prior to.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of look back. I was chatting to someone at the weekend about this as well. Given what we've kind of had over the last 7 or 8 years, basically no, after 2008. So I mean, we won the FA Cup 2011. So I mean, since then, like we've been spoiled. So I mean, what's happening now? You just take a look. We're gone to shit for a while, and hopefully we'll turn it around. But I mean, no, I'm not gonna. If I was there, I wouldn't boo. I'm not saying I'd clap and I'd fucking cheer either, but I wouldn't boo them because of what they've given us over the last few years. But I just thought De Bruyne, like he's idolized over there, but I mean, he's not doing himself a lot of favors by giving out about the fans. He didn't have to kind of say what he said, and you'd wonder what's going to happen with him in the summer as well. He's out of contract.
Yeah. Gone,
I would say that's the end of him.
Yeah, I'm kind of I have the same kind of thinking as well. Okay, elsewhere. So Spurs 1, Newcastle 2. Again, Spurs, you don't know what you're getting.
Oh man, it was one hell of a game. Like, as in Spurs, like Ange's interview afterward is just it's so entertaining. And I know he's going to be gone in the not too distant future, but like
do you think so?
I think so, yeah. Like, I don't think it's the right thing to happen, but like fans are starting to turn on Levy and give out about Levy, and it's just more and more mentioning coming up about him 20 years and the lack of success and he's scrimping and saving and them being one of the most expensive season ticket. And obviously then like things aren't going well on the pitch now, and the kind of the short-sightedness of the investment last summer in that they were buying for the future without dealing with depth or the team that's there now. Like even compared to someone like Bournemouth, like the depth that Bournemouth can bring on, that's when people are injured and stuff, that they just don't have it. Like, and maybe and when that starts to happen and the pressure starts to be on, being turned to Levy, Levy tends to pull the trigger on a manager.
Yeah.
He's been very competitive with fans. He's had a lot of running, like he'd run in with the fans. He was given, like he said at the start, I won't give out about refs. I'll respect refs and all this quotes. And he just seems to have created more and more of these nets around himself that are closing in all the time. He said if the game is fair and equal, if the game is fair and equal, he said it like 8 times in his post-match interview. And being honest, like Newcastle could have won that by more. Like, yeah, Spurs the chances.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I only saw the highlights. Like because he kept from his post-match interview. I assumed that Tottenham were really unlucky not to win the game. That's what it came across like.
Like he could have been aggrieved. Like the goal came, the first goal for Newcastle. Spurs were playing out from the back, and Bergwijn went to play across. Pass was overhit to him. He was stretching to play it, and it hit off Joe Linton's hand, but his hand was in a natural position.
Yeah.
It rebounded like so. The hand was obviously that was part of what he was talking about. And Dan Burn spread himself wide on a yellow card on the halfway line and kind of pulled his arm back in, and the ball grazed off it. But like he had it in a natural position and was on the position moving it back in, and it was done on purpose. Could have easily been a second yellow card, but like they were the main complaints. It could have gone the other way. Like Newcastle had an argument that Kulievski crashed into Gordon, broke.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
that could have been a penalty either. Like there was, it wasn't that he had it all their own way, and Newcastle missed one or two good chances as well. Like it could have easily been a draw, but it was a typical Spurs performance, and they just are so all over the shop at the back, and he just isn't changing it and seems to be just digging in. Like you can't.
But they don't have the players, Moss. They don't have the players. They're playing Archie Gray.
Yeah. The back line is a higgledy-piggledy shit show of people who like shouldn't be there. Like bar Paro, there's no one else who should be in that. Dragunov, whatever way you say his name, is nowhere near the level he'd be
And
great
their
in the sit
keeper,
back.
yeah, fucking.
Yeah, if
I
you put him
know.
under a
Forster was
Dyche,
gone, wasn't he? But their
yeah, if you put
keeper.
him in a Dyche system, he'd be brilliant, I'd say. But
Yeah.
playing what this is they're trying to do, it's just not there, and he's the only really recognized central defender playing. Like so, like yeah, look, their goalkeeper, like hadn't played a game in 4 years. Like
Yeah.
what's going on there? Like
It's like,
um,
when you're playing Sunday League or underage or something, and you're like, Jesus, ring PJ there and get him out, man.
Yeah.
See if he'll
yeah,
talk
exactly.
out
It
like
was
they're
Junior
Yeah.
B,
playing
take the
FIFA
flag
like
out of
you're
your
ready
mouth
to.
and go straight onto the pitch, like. But
He
I
actually
don't know.
he got man of the match.
Yeah, but like any of the midfield for Newcastle could have got it. Like that midfield
Yeah.
for Newcastle is operating on a serious level.
I think the Carabao Cup or bust for Ange. I think I just wrote
An
that down.
awful lot rides on that Liverpool game, and
Yeah,
if he is to
absolutely.
lose, I know it's over 2 legs, but if he doesn't go through there, that's his
Do you
chance
not
of
think though, like if your half your squad is injured, do you not think it's a bit of a kind of how do you say, give him a bit more time, like because it is harsh
Okay,
getting
no, I do. I understand that and I appreciate that, but when half your squad is injured, surely you adapt. I don't know, you set your team up to kind of compensate for kind of where you're weaker and you do something different, but not what he's done, like just as I said, putting in dragons and Archies and stuff like that.
yes,
Dragons and
and like
God.
dragons and
You
arches.
know? Look,
Yeah, but like United had that excuse last year with Ten Hag, and then that look where it led to as well, like where he'd half his team out in no central defence. So I don't know.
okay, come here on Newcastle. Just a very quick word. They're looking good. They definitely have recaptured the form that they had earlier on in the season and 2 years
Yeah.
ago when they were flying. And Eddie Howe is just kind of he's going. He's not a lot has been said about him, but I mean he was under pressure last year. You know,
Yeah, he's not good. And you know what? I think I saw on Sky Sports Jamie Carragher did a good bit of match analysis on Tonali going back to the number 6 position and
he's a good
swapping with
player.
Bruno. And like I think since they made that switch and put him there, they
Yeah.
seem to have really gone up a level. So it's not like it's just come out of their form. I think there's some level of how do you say stability there that's going to look like it's for the long term rather than just like they're going to dip down again. So I tell you what, they could look good for top 4 anyway.
Absolutely. I mean, how long will they keep Isaac, do you think? Because, I mean, he's just, for example,
To get
Arsenal, I
Champions
know.
League, apparently if to get Champions League, he'll stay. If they don't,
Okay.
he won't.
I know we're going to have a very quick chat about the January transfer window. I mean, I don't think it would happen in January, but like Isaac and Arsenal, for me, would go hand in hand. They just seem to,
Mm.
I think, anyways, like there's your number 9 you've been looking for. He would
Yeah.
cost a lot, but
How much would you pay for him, Dick?
Jesus, on current form, he can't be far off 100 million, is he? I don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd say in January they'd ask for about 140 or a million. I'd say to ask for him.
Yeah.
I'd say in the summer you might get him for around 100 million.
That's like, I mean, I know they had issues with the whole profit
so-
and sustainability and stuff. So I mean, they're a team that could be rated in the summer, and there's plenty of players there. I mean, I know City are looking at Bruno. There's Isaac. There's Gordon. He's having a fantastic season. I know like the lads in the middle are not going to get as much of a mention as the others, but like Joe Linton and Tonali. I mean, there's so many players that you'd love to kind of just pick off
Lewis
that team,
Hall.
put into. Yeah, absolutely. But look, we'll see. Next, Aston Villa 2, Leicester 1, Bournemouth 1, Everton 0. Go back to Everton now in 1 sec. Southampton 0, Brentford 5, Fulham 2, Ipswich 2. Ipswich are putting in a real dogged effort. You love to see it. Wolves and Forest are on tonight. Just going back to, Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 1. Chelsea have kind of just taken a foot off the gas, whatever's happened to them. Still up there, obviously. Still doing well. A lot better than I thought they would do. But yeah, over the last 2 weeks,
He's
maybe.
tinkered. Maresca has tinkered with the starting lineup a bit.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Fofana is gone. He's a big blow. He's
Yeah.
gone to the end of March, and he's kind of giving them a stability. I think once he goes, you'll notice their defense kind of falls apart a bit because Dizazi and all them other lads that they signed from Monaco playing centre back. They're all crap. Like, so once they come in, their whole defense falls down a bit. So, but they'll probably sign another centre back, of course, during the summer or during the January
They're
transfer.
looking just before we came on. I saw that they're looking at bringing in from Crystal Palace. What's his name?
Gay.
Yes. And they're
But like
also
but just on that they changed. I think they played a few other. They changed their squad around or the starting 11 around a good bit there. I know Lavia's injured, but who else? I think there was. I can't remember Neto. I don't think Jackson started either. I think Nkuku started. So I think he's tinkered a bit with the Andy, the keeper. That was it. He's moved out Sanchez and he brought in your man Jorgensen. So he's kind of tweaked it. He's kind of like you have a solid team there. You're winning every game. Why change it a bit? And I think the Chelsea fans seem to be a bit pissed off that he's kind of messed around with it a bit today. So look, and it's not like they don't have a big enough squad. They can't play these players in Premier League. Like it's not like they're playing in Champions League around. But anyway,
just on that, you'd imagine with the Conference League, like obviously they have to be heavy favourites for that, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
You know,
even without Palmer.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so very quickly, we're going to move on. Just want to get your thoughts on the January transfer window. I just have two questions down, like who needs what, who needs to buy in January, and who could be bought in January. So, for example, who needs what? Like City are kind of crying out for a midfielder at the moment, and I've kind of have Bruno Guimaraes down as like one to go after. But again, it's hard to kind of see what's going to happen with City and transfers in January and whatever about the summer. But as well, like Arsenal, would they go looking for a striker now, or suppose?
I think they need even I'd leave the striker situation this summer if they could get like a really good winger. I think they need like they've needed a left winger since fucking ages. They've been trying to get Nico Williams. They tried to get
I saw that, yeah. He's a good player.
They were looking at Neto for a while. There's been a load of players they've tried to get for the last while on the wing. And it just didn't materialize. They ended up signing a full back. Like, so I think they could do with signing, like, especially with Saka out. They need a killer they need someone to score goals in that forward line. There was talk of Cunha.
He's signing a new contract. Wolves probably to
so
get
he's
bigger.
signing a new contract, but there was talk apparently Arsenal had a pre-agreement with him, but like that getting an agreement with Wolves would be very difficult. So
Nico Williams could be interesting. He had an excellent
Euro. So there's talk of him now. The only thing is he's a 48 million release clause, but he's like his wage is insane. Like he's on like 300 plus. So whether they could get him, I think they could. No, he's not having the best of seasons in Spain. So that's the other thing, is that like if they got him in and he wasn't, But look, I think he's worth a gamble.
Yeah, what's the crack with Sterling though? Did you not bring him in for? Is it long term or? No,
he'll be back in like a week or two. But he got injured pretty much the same time Saka got injured. So like there was a perfect position there for him, ready to go.
Yeah. You'd imagine there's a ready-made kind of replacement, not up to Saka's level, but enough experience and ability to definitely help.
Arsenal will definitely do something in the attacking, whether it's a striker or a winger. I think they'll probably go for a winger and maybe try and get Isak in the summer if Newcastle don't finish in the Champions League. That's the position they are at the moment. But they need someone. They're very thin up front, like.
Yeah. Liverpool, do you think they'll do anything, Moss, during the January?
It's hard to know, really. I'd say their transfer window will be based on trying to get three lads sorted. There is like some, in terms of City, I've heard some discussion in relation to the player, what do you call him? Plays from Spain. He Real Betis. What do you call him? Trying to get him this.
Yeah, I know that. I know
Liverpool were linked to them heavily this year.
How do you pronounce
it? Zubimendi.
Yeah.
Yes, Zubimendi. Yeah. I heard a couple of I was listening to a couple of transfer podcasts, and they were tipping that as a one to watch. Yeah. Which would be a boost because you can see like they are very reliant on Gravenberch and stuff in that midfield. They have loads up front. In terms of in terms of across the board after that, it's hard to know. There's so little value in the January market anymore. Yeah. I do think Ipswich kind of got in early there. They got Godfrey in from Atalanta with a bit of Premier League experience, used to play for Everton, so that might boost them even to give them a bit more option up front with the Mary Hutchins and stuff like. Yeah. So that's
over the years, the January transfer window has kind of
Bruno Fernandes for me is kind of one of the standout, and Van Dijk, I suppose, as January transfers. But like like we have no we could do with a left back badly. United could really do with a left back, someone left footed playing in a left wing back position. Any type of wing back would be delightful. And there's been some links with PSG and Nuno Mendes, both
Oh,
who
yeah.
played for Amarin in Sporting before going there because his contract expires in the summer. But no, I don't know. There's a lot of talk of Rashford
Yeah,
and
what do you think
where he
about that?
goes.
AC Milan supposedly.
AC Milan, but like if he does go there, United will have to largely subsidize
Yeah.
his wages, and I don't really see the merit in letting him go and still paying wages for him to go play for someone else. Like, but I think he's not going to go any. He's probably not going to go anywhere this time of the year. He'll take his from now to summer to put himself in the shop window. We'll try to get the best out of him and
Yeah.
let him go, sell him, try and sell him on in summer. I think it just needs to go. I think it's at a natural end at this stage.
Fair
And
enough.
Xerxes, another player being
Yeah,
highly
I
linked
saw that as well.
with move back to Syria. But like if you were to sell on if Xerxes to go, like you need to invest in a striker because we have
Yeah.
literally no one else. So it'll be
Um,
interesting to see
Can I
what
just
goes.
add on my Chelsea hatred, like this idea of them getting gay, like where are they getting all it? Like how are they getting all this money and being able to spend all this money? You know, is it 60 million for another? Like it sounds like sour grapes, but it's 100% sour grapes. Like
no, I'm not arguing. I agree. Like, I mean,
it's
obviously,
just a bit of a farce. Like it's like, oh yeah, all the other center halves we signed haven't worked, so let's just keep fucking spending money. Like it's like there's
but didn't
no jeopardy at all. Like
yeah, but didn't they have some sort of kind of loophole they found, like where by
oh,
selling
selling
hotels and
fucking.
stuff?
They'll be selling Todd Bowley's fucking Ferrari next or something fucking.
Yeah, I don't know, look. We'll see what they
Joke.
do, but I do agree, like that the amount that they have invested in such a short space of time should surely raise red flags. But as of yet, nothing seems to be happening. But we'll see. Look, we'll see. They could be joining us down the division, in time to
Yeah,
come.
maybe they're signing it up.
And that verdict actually can't be too far away either. They said the spring, so I mean that's technically February, March,
Yeah,
April.
there'll be an
So
appeal though, I think then. So, but it'll be interesting to see even what the initial call is like.
yeah, that's true actually. All right, so that was
You obviously think it's going to be guilty if there's going to be an appeal. Yes,
how.
Well, apparently there'll be appeal from both.
appeal either way.
Yeah, that's
Either way,
true actually. Whatever
yeah,
way it
yeah.
goes, you'd imagine, because nobody wants to be seen to lose face,
Lose
given how
face.
long it's gone on. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, we'll see. Um, that's January transfer window, the weekend. A quick one as well, actually. I just wanted to get your opinion on this. So West Ham, Lopeteglu, supposedly on his way, and the new Everton owners supposedly assessing Dyke's position. So they're considering replacing their managers. Now, should this type of thing not be kept in-house? Why are Sky Sports able to do reports on a club's directors assessing a
Mm.
manager's future? We saw this over the summer with Ten Hag. I just said I'd get your opinion on it. What do you think? Like, I mean, we shouldn't know about that type of stuff? Like a director is considering a manager's future. That's, for example, that's Everton's new owners. And during the summer, like United were, kind of shopping for new managers. Like, got to keep that stuff in house to kind of keep like the culture of a club within a club. What goes on within a club should stay there. And it's in fairness, like City have pissed me off a lot over the last 2 months, but I have no idea why because nothing has been leaked out. Like we have no idea what's going on.
It's
And
hard to get the leak from Abu Dhabi though, like like around the Sheikh's table in Abu Dhabi, like there's not many English supporters that are going to be on the phone to the Sheikh straight away afterwards.
look, anyways, you're taking away
Rather
from
than
my
poor
point.
old poor old Billy who's on the board on West Ham
Yeah, very good.
with his
Um,
0.5% share.
what do you think? I mean, why aren't these things kept in house? Is it purely down to just someone leaking it to the press, or is there more to it?
I think
I
part of
think
it's PR.
sorry, go on, Mas, you go.
I think part of it is PR. Like West Ham clearly know that their fan base aren't happy with the performances that are going on. By saying Lopetegui's under review, under assessment, they're taking the fans' opinion on board without actually having to do anything or make any decisions as of yet. So it's a way of buying themselves time, in my opinion. It can be tactically done, or it can be leaked in such a way that it's leaked for the club's benefit.
Yeah,
Especially there's a huge movement against Sean Dyche, like with Everton fans, that Everton fans are in a very dark, dejected place in relation to their club, and like they're 7 wins in the whole of 2024. Like
Yeah,
they have a really bad run of games coming up. They're like the Ipswich are a better team than them at the minute and
yeah,
look much more able to score goals. So like by saying, well, his position's under review, like all his underlying numbers suggest he should be got rid of at this stage, to be honest. And I know it's like, but it's Sean Dyche and he'll keep you up. But like I think that line is starting to wear thin. And as a new owner comes in, it's a way of kind of connecting with what the fan base wants. Without having to make a commitment as to what I think is going to happen yet.
Yeah,
yeah,
just on that from my side, like I think there's also you could have if you're sitting around a board, there could be 5 board members that are making decisions, and if you have 2 of them that want Lopetegui gone and want Potter in, and they don't get their votes, they could stir up things outside after they come out of the boardroom. They could get on to Danny, who works in Daily Mail, and say, "Look, we're
yeah.
not.
Fair point.
This is what they." And
So a leak,
fans would get
basically.
behind it, and then all of a sudden they go back to another board meeting, and they're like, "Right, let's get rid of him." So I think there's a bit of that goes on as well. When the board members aren't probably too lovey-dovey and they just want to get their decision. So yeah, I think that's probably an aspect of it as well.
It doesn't. It doesn't send out a good message though for whatever club it's
No,
happening to. Like, I mean,
no.
if that's happening, and like it does, it's leaks. If it is leaks, I mean, what do you call it? It's happening like kind of in different clubs. I mean, players. Do you imagine being in a dressing room and like certain players are going to the press and kind of telling personal details about different players? I mean, it's just shocking to kind of think that it, but it does go on 100%.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You can just imagine as well. Like, imagine if a group of players were all being leaked about, and they found out who it was, and they got him on his own in the dressing room or something like that. Um,
But it's I don't even it's probably as a United fan, but it just happens all the time. I don't even question it anymore. I just assume everything's going to be leaked. Like
uh,
I'm shocked that it doesn't happen. Like
Not
I've just become part of the normal running of the club
just
in
that, but
the last 10 years.
it shouldn't though, because I mean, again, like if a culture of a club is set right and it's a well-run club, I mean, surely you should have everyone kind of pulling in the same direction. But yeah, it's just you can imagine if it's that toxic that like people are kind of leaking stuff to the press. I mean, just I don't know, it just doesn't taste nice.
For sure, Garnacho was leaking news, and then it was leaked that he was the person leaking news. So he got stung by his own system.
I read that. Like, was that definite?
Not
Well, I
well,
was
there was
talking yeah,
nothing
leaking the
official.
team
The
news
club
stuff.
defended him, but
Was that
I
why he
said
was
that it
dropped?
wasn't
Was it?
true, and but it did happen at least 3 or 4 days before the City game, and
Right.
where himself
Okay.
and Rashford were dropped.
All right. Um. Okay. Interesting. Now, we'll move on to fantasy football. So we don't have our main man Dan to tell us about the week's proceedings. So if any of you have an update for me, I know Dan is still leading, but his gap at the top is shrinking little by little. I know his
Look,
brother.
let's just say Dan
Yeah.
didn't have a great weekend, did he? He's gone over. He's got stuck over in Liverpool, knee deep in snow, thinking
Yeah.
his team's going to hammer United, shivering up in the stands, singing "We'll Never Walk Alone,"
Oh,
and then
brilliant.
walking home, crying into his pint, his frozen
Yeah.
pint on the way home. So look,
Very
and
good.
then his lead is slipping in an FPL. So Dan, if you're listening, yeah, maybe stay over Liverpool. Maybe do that.
Okay, very good. Is it because Haaland got two and other people have benefited because of that, or is he just had a bad picks?
He wasn't massive. Like he's still a decent. He's on 61 points. Like so, he's a
People are
pretty
closing
decent.
on him though. Like, I mean, his brother
Oh
is only
yeah,
a couple behind him. The brother who won last year, Alex, like he's in sixth, I think. He's kind of.
Aidan O'D had a good week. He's there in second place at 73 points, and he still has Wood to play tonight.
Okay.
So yeah, look, there's a couple of good weeks there. Brian Crossan and had a good week there, 82 points. So yeah, look, there's Haaland. I suppose Haaland getting points. Those who've stuck on with him and kept him kind of floating in around the captain seem to
Yeah.
have made a big jump this week. And when he gets one or two like that, he tends to start banging them in. So if that starts happening,
Hopefully.
that's going to put Dan under a little bit of pressure at the top for anyone who has him. But I think,
Shaking your head, Howard. What's up?
Of course, he has that snitch, doesn't he? He has that snake, Alexander Trent, playing at the back. Dan
yeah,
does.
He got him
Okay.
0
How could you be a
points. Like,
fan of Liverpool and you're putting that snitch? Like they're
That
all
Real
up for being
Madrid.
dressed. It's a disgrace. Dan's he's lost it. He's lost the Anfield back now by putting him in his team.
there's no morals in fantasy football or loyalties.
The game is gone. All right, as well, just a reminder, the winner of fantasy football in May will get a club jersey of their choice. On to Super 6. So we have 6 fixtures this coming weekend, all FA Cup fixtures. Richard Coulter, Dan's brother, is leading this league, so it would be nice to see Dan and his brother knocked off their perch. It would, even in the dying weeks of the season. But actually, no, Richard is fine. If he wants to win the Super 6, that's fine. But it would be nice to kind of are either of you in any way in the top 10 for fantasy football?
Nope.
I'm in the 15th position, so no.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, look, we'll be dependent on others, so to try and catch Dan. We'll see. The 6 fixtures. So Man City versus Salford. That'll be an interesting one. Tamworth and Spurs, Arsenal United, Chelsea, Morecambe, Bournemouth, West Brom, Norwich and Brighton. So again, the winner of our Super 6 league will receive €100 cash at the end of the season. Richard Coulter, he's been on top. He's been on top actually for a good few weeks now. City versus Salford.
Coulter, Dan.
I know, yeah, he's very tough.
Dan will log on to the call here and start berating.
He's very touchy about his pronunciation of his name. Okay, so City versus Salford. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say we're going to keep our run going. Salford, obviously, been in Manchester, and isn't it owned? Am I right in saying that it's owned by the 5 lads?
Yeah, by the class of '92 lads.
Yeah,
very good. Okay, so I don't know. I don't even I'll go 3-0. Tamworth versus Spurs. I think Spurs will win that, but it's the type of game where I think Tamworth will go 1-up and then Spurs will come back and win it something like 3 or 4-1.
This is impossible. How are we supposed to guess this?
I know, but
I don't even know what division Tamworth playing. Are they? I think they're like non-league, aren't they?
I'd imagine. I'd say so, yeah. Seemed like that team that would have like a plastic pitch or something like that.
I'm pretty sure they're the only non-league team left in or to get a big team draw this week's round, yeah. So yeah,
Morecambe going to Chelsea though.
Yeah, I definitely fancy Morecambe for that one. No, Chelsea's 8th team out against them.
All right, we'll start. So Arsenal versus Man United. So Moss, will get both of your opinion actually on that one. Obviously, we'll tie it around.
Go to penalties?
Does it? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. At this stage, this has to be the 4th round.
Have they got rid of the replays altogether? Dan's a good man for that information. I would reckon it'll be tight and Arsenal to maybe 2-1.
Okay, Howard, what do you think?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal.
All right. Okay, so Chelsea and Morecambe. Again, we presume Chelsea win that. Howard, score-wise, what do you think?
I'm gonna go 3-0 Chelsea.
3-0. Moss, you're doing all right in Super 6, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 8th or something like that. Kind of been in the top 10 all wrong, but the wrong half.
Fair enough. Howard, have you given up
on that? I kept forgetting, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Once you stop forgetting a few of them, you're like yourself, Tech. It's just
that's what happened. I forgot the first 2 weeks, so it was very poor for me.
I'm beating Dan, lads. That's all that matters in the Super 6, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Dan's been playing every week, like Dan. I didn't do it for 3 weeks. I was still ahead of Dan. So there you go.
I think I remember him saying he doesn't care about this. His focus is very much on the fantasy football. Okay, Bournemouth, West Brom. You'd imagine Bournemouth will be into the next round. How are West Brom doing? Do you know in the Championship? Any idea?
They're okay.
All right.
Are Leeds still mid-table? Like,
are Leeds still leading?
Leeds still Leeds, Burnley in 2nd, Sheffield United 3rd, and Burnley, West Bromwich Albion are 6th, so they're in the playoff positions, just ahead of Blackburn.
And then Norwich and Brighton. That's the type of game where you could see an upset. A Championship team at home.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. All right, that's our Super 6. The winner of our Super 6, as I was saying, €100 cash at the end of the season. At the moment, it's going to Richard Coulter. And fantasy football at the moment is going to Daniel Coulter. Let's not let that happen. Um, any other
Yet again.
business to discuss, man, before we call it a day? Oh, Robbie Keane going to the Hungary champions to take over. What do you make of that? It's an odd route that he's taken in management.
Yeah. Moss, you might have some more feedback on that than me.
Just out of
I don't
curiosity.
know, to be honest. He's got an awful lot of hate for his time in Israel,
Yeah.
and playing like not immediately up and leaving when the war started, and
Damn
was
war.
like openly booed by Irish fans
Yeah.
at the Viva, which I was surprised by. But yeah, he's taken an unconventional route, but it's no harm. He hasn't. I suppose he spent all his time in England. It's no harm to see other
Yeah.
influences. And although Hungary isn't exactly the powerhouse in European football, it does have a strong tradition of football, and they have put time and effort into starting to develop their international team, and they are making progress. So it might be a decent time to get involved in the league over there. But I presume the long term goal is to Championship, maybe Premier League eventually.
How do you know much about Hungarian football?
Well, listen, Sabazlai and the government took over, and they used it as a point of national pride to start
Jesus
like
Christ.
promoting nationalism, which was a big thing at the last Euros. So there you go.
There you
Wow.
go.
I just watch football to see what's going on the pitch, but Moss, clearly you were taking in everything that's going on. It's good to see.
One last thing there, because
Yeah.
Dan will kill us if we don't mention the one thing he told us to mention.
Oh,
And
what did he?
apparently,
Yeah, what was it?
for United fans listening to the podcast, if you're ever at a United game, you will notice that Hoyland's movement apparently is fantastic. So taking that from a Liverpool fan, Dan Coulter, yeah, apparently
If his
moving off the
finishing was to
ball.
the same standard, we would have won
Yeah,
that
you
game.
might have
So
a different player on your hands, exactly, because he's a handful.
He is.
Yeah.
Big lad. He's only 21, 22.
21, 20 squad,
Give or
22, I think.
take.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of pressure on him, like to lead in the line. But yeah, what's he call it?
Anyway,
We'll leave it there, man. Good
That's Dan's
episode.
hot take for us after that match. Anyway.
What do you call it? Yeah, Dan will most likely be back next week. Next Monday, where we were going to be on episode 59. 60 is coming. Very good. Lads, thank you very much as always. Have a good week, and we'll be talking to you next week, all right?
Bye, man. Thank you.
cheers.
Cheers, man. Good luck.